Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode. I think this is 124. So,
Yeah, 125. 124
you sure?
last week. Yeah.
Welcome to episode 125 of Moogle Go Round Radio. I'm your host, Chili, as we talk about video game stuff. Or 124. We'll find out after I edit it and check the actual numbers. Anyway, Paul, how you doing?
I am very, very on fumes of energy. Other than that, pretty good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. I'm not liking this heat. I've been drinking a lot of water. I've got water next to me. So yeah, been pretty good, thank you. But I think we've got to introduce our guests because we actually have two guests today. One of them is a returning guest that we haven't had on for a while, and we always enjoy having him on. He's the Lalafell with the slightly less amazing ears than my Lalafell, but still pretty cool. It's Taru TV.
Okay, thanks very much, Chili. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me back. It's always a pleasure, and looking forward to having a chat about some stuff.
How you been?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I've been, like I said, the heat over here is pretty mad. So yeah, not too bad. Just recently done my relic, and
nice.
That was pretty fun.
Did you put skill speed on it?
Well, I didn't because I played Dragoon this tier, so I got my warrior up afterwards, and I already had enough skill speed, but I don't have access to the BIS legs, so I chose to put it into nasty instead, like a bad Lalafell.
I also played Dragoon this tier. It was terrible. I'm still playing it now.
Yeah.
I'm a white mage, so I have a stick. Does that count?
You have glare, so
yeah. Sure okay, sweet.
I think hit more harder than most of my moves.
I'm gonna miss my damage. By the way, I'm gonna say this now before we start. I'm gonna miss the damage. I know it's gonna still be the same amount of damage, but I like the big numbers. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's something we can talk about afterwards.
Yeah,
because we're talking about that as well.
Yeah. And a new guest that we haven't had on before, and hopefully we don't scare them off right away, and their chat has taken over our chat, which is nice. It's nice to see so many new people spamming this amazing emote. We're very lucky to have on someone that was requested quite a few times on our Twitter channel when we're asking for tanks. We got Java Monkey.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. How are you doing? It's the first time meeting you, so.
I mean, controversially to everyone else in the UK, I am also melting. It is way too hot. I've sat here with a tower fan blasting cold air into my face, and I still feel like I'm about to melt like a snowman in hell. So that's a great time. Otherwise, though, I'm doing very well. Thank you. I'm doing very well.
I agree with the chat. Your voice is really deep, and I like it. Can we just have him take Moogle Go Round? Can we just step out and we can give him the channel?
I mean, I think this is not the first time we've actually had a full British cast.
Shall we swap the roles? So me and Java will host. You two can.
I mean, sweet.
I'm down for a vacation. I'm doing this too long.
Our podcast now.
Finally, I can stop doing. Look, I had to do 5 podcasts on Sunday, so if I don't have to do podcasts for a week, I will take it. But no, seriously, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. My pleasure.
But yeah, this is Paul's idea. So Paul, do you want to start this off a little bit? Because I know you're the one who brought this up originally about bringing jobs on, about talking, in the future.
Yes, we're actually interviewing people about jobs now. So I had this idea actually from another used to be Final Fantasy content creator. Everyone may know him as Talon. He did the old Tankasode, which I was on at one point. And basically I decided to do this because obviously with Endwalker come out and we saw a lot of interesting abilities, I'm going to say, just from the small little benchmark trailer that we saw. And I was like, actually, this is before. I just want tanks, healers. Tell me what you want to see. That's the whole convert. What do you want to see from your class? What don't you want to lose in your class? And what do you think could help your class? And that's what we're doing. Now we have a Gunbreaker, a Warrior, a White Mage, and some prat that has changed so many jobs he doesn't know what to do.
I mean, we won't be talking about our jobs. We'll talk about jobs in the future episode because we've got quite a lot of episodes to go through.
A lot of episodes.
We've got to make content till November. So, because you're our first guest, Java Monkey, is there anything you're really excited for when it comes to Endwalker? Because I know you do Ultimate, right?
I do, yes.
Is there any sort of things because we know that new Ultimate is going to be level 90.
It is, yeah. So
What,
I mean, first and foremost, that new Ultimate is definitely something I'm really looking forward to, because it'd be my first time. This is gonna be my first expansion ever. Like, this is gonna be my first time playing this game when a fresh expansion comes out. I started playing about patch 5.2, pretty much like start of lockdown, so middle of patch 5.2, and the slash playtimes concerningly large number kind of indicates that in the last year I've fallen in love with this game. But yeah, I would say the biggest thing is the new Ultimate, something I'm definitely looking forward to. A new setting for a Savage tier, and as well just getting to experience the launch of a new expansion as well. I think will be really nice.
That's pretty cool that you're getting to experience the expansion for the first time. I will say from experience from previous expansions, there might be some NPCs that block your way.
I have heard the tales of Rauban's Wall. I have heard the tales.
Yeah. And Pippin. Robin and Pippin.
Father like son. Lovely.
Yeah. Well, it's because it decided to have one after another, so that was not a good idea. But no, what is there any certain, because you play a gunbreaker, correct?
I do, yes. That is my main job.
Is there any certain abilities that you're looking forward to that you think will enhance Gunbreaker in the future? Like, is there anything you're thinking the job is missing right now, or something that you want to make sure it has to keep its identity, or just to make it different?
I would probably say in the sense of Gunbreaker, there's definitely not a lot more I'd want to see added to the job. With where it is right now as a tank, it is incredibly busy. You've got your No Mercy and your Gnashing Fang windows, which involve a lot of double weaving. Or if you're doing content that's requiring a lot of movement, it's like single weaves and reshuffling where your weaves go. So it can be incredibly busy during that phase. So I wouldn't really want to see too much more added in that regard. If anything, maybe a simplifying of the continuation system and the Gnashing Fang system to be less buttons. Because it is a bit of a hotbar gore right now, with Gnashing Fang, Savage Claw, and Wicked Talon all being separate skills, and then continuation being an extra one on the end. Having played a little bit of PvP, it does feel a little bit tidier on the hotbars to have those condensed down. So that would be a nice little tidy up, but otherwise not adding too much to that. I think something I would quite like to see is, I initially loved the skill of Bloodfest, giving you 2 free cartridges. I was like, well, it's more damage, who could ever complain? But I do often find now that it's really just used for 2 extra burst strikes. So I've been leveling a lot of Samurai and playing a lot of Samurai recently to try life as someone who doesn't have 200k HP and can just stand in every mechanic if it doesn't give a damage down. And I quite like the synergy you get there between your Iki Shoten and your Senai, where you pretty much build the 50 Kenki gauge and then spend it on a hard-hitting ability. And I've been wondering, or kind of hoping perhaps, that Gunbreaker maybe gets a bigger spender skill for that. Maybe you spend 2 at once and get a nice big chunk of damage out of it. And that might streamline down the Bloodfest No Mercy windows just a little bit. However, it's a tricky balancing act, because Gunbreaker is one of those jobs that flows very cleanly from combo to combo, playing much like a DPS. You're going to go through your 1-2-3, you're going to go through your No Mercy window, then you do your 1-2-3 straight into a Gnashing Fang, and then you're going to do double 1-2-3 into a 1-2, and then you're straight back into No Mercy, which your burst and your Gnashing Fang within No Mercy last just long enough to finish the third part of your combo and be back to 2 shells. So it all flows very, very tidily right now. And I think it's going to be a fine balancing act. I'm intrigued to see how they do it, with how they would add anything else or change anything else. We did see in the benchmark trailer, we got that clip of the Gunbreaker sort of upswing the gunblade into the enemy and then fire off a shot. that has me personally very excited about whether that's going to be a double spender or maybe just an upgraded burst strike. But I will say the animation alone had me doing backflips in my seat. It was thrilling. I was like, oh, it looks so cool.
I think they might do what they did with Red Mage and Samurai when they just kind of like added like a little like kind of finishing touch onto it.
Yeah.
Like Red Mage didn't get much. It just added like some quality of life things, and then you get a big hitter thing at the end of your like kind of combo. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's pretty nice. I do want to see what they're going to do with that because obviously they're like 2 expansions, you know. See what they're going to do with that now. And I think it's the same with Dancer. I think Dancer and Gunbreaker are just going to get quality of life things with like a little bit added on, like more DPS maybe. You know, so it doesn't like completely break the class or break the sound as it did at the beginning of this expansion.
No, I'd very much agree then. Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm looking at it is obviously not knowing how the changes were for Red Mage or Samurai, but seeing the skills between 70 and 80 in the skill book, which I know isn't a completely true reflection because some things are being shifted around and tweaked a little bit with the release of Shadowbringers. But yeah, something like that I think would be really nice. Just not adding too much, not doing too much to flesh it out, just a little bit of polish here and there. Maybe some buff potencies, some new animations, and nothing too complex on the DPS front. On the mitigation front, I do have some questions about the nature of camouflage. While I've come to appreciate it a lot more in Ultimate content because autos hurt a lot in the content, I do find it very much otherwise just gets used as most other tanks use their rolling mitigation to add on a bit of extra damage reduction onto your Nebula or your Rampart, which is completely fine. But when you compare it to, say, Dark Knight, Paladin, I guess Paladin's more the party mitigation, but Dark Knight and Warrior especially feels a little bit less impactful. I do wonder if that will stay the same way it is, or what may potentially happen with it in that regard. Because we've got Warrior as a self-healing tank, like Paladin's identity is party mitigation. Dark Knight's very much seems to be going down the track of being a magic resistance tank. So maybe they'll stick with it, just tweak the numbers on it a bit. It may just stay as it is, but maybe Gunbreaker becoming more of a physical mitigation tank. Focus much more on dealing with boss autos consistently over time. I think could be a nice way to see it identify itself. Because I think a lot of people associate Gunbreaker as the DPS tank, but I must admit, I do like what they've done in this game with bringing all the tanks into a reasonable sense of parity, unless we're talking invulnerabilities, in which case I'm so sorry, Dark Knights, but Living Dead is horrible. And I played it.
Super Bolide is horrible at times as well, to be honest. It's great. It's a great ability, but as a white mage, I often find it happens as I've hit Benediction.
Oh, I mean, that is the Bolide Benediction meme. Yeah. We do love and hate it in equal parts.
It's like, I love it. It's very good. But at the same time, it makes me cry a little bit when it happens.
See, I came from a simpler life of tank. But when parry was a thing, that I again, a lot of people didn't find parry useful, but it was against auto attacks. If I had parry going against Shiva and her goddamn auto attacks, I'd be so much more happier. Because her auto attacks were like train trunks, just tapping me down.
Well, wasn't Dark Knight the parry tank originally, if I'm rightly? It had before this expansion, it had loads of different parry buffs.
No, I think that was Paladin because of the shield. No, that was block, weren't it? That was block.
Yeah, Dark Knight was the parry tank originally. Yeah. Before it became the magic tank, because they realized making a parry-based tank wasn't a good idea.
I would have loved that though. I don't know. I love that kind of like parry, like you're an actual tank. I love getting hit. Like I took a break from tanking. I did play like Gunbreaker, Paladin. You know that. No, I like getting hit. Call me a masochist, but you know, I enjoyed being the person that got hit because I had fun not dying. You know, I have a big large health pool. Let's mitigate that.
Rose in chat says Living Dead can be good and it's not too difficult to deal with. You know exactly how it works. But trying to heal Living Dead as Scholar is a difficult without Benediction at all levels. Yes. White Mage is probably the easiest one to do it because you've got so many burst heals. You've got your Afflitus, or whatever it's called, You've got your you got like loads of insta heals if need be, and benediction.
Mhm.
With the I can see why Astrologian and Scholar can struggle when it comes to Dark Knight.
I would say my biggest complaint with Living Dead, because I do 100% agree with what Rose is saying. The strongest thing about it is you functionally can get 18 seconds of not dying out of an invuln, which is a crazily good amount of time. However, it doesn't offer that invulnerability to damage that, say, Hallowed Ground or Super Bolide does. And it is also a case of, like, case you can power heal them back up and it can end it early, but they're still taking damage while it's going on if you're chunk healing them back up. I think it does definitely have its strengths, but it just feels like a bit of an outlier compared to the others to me. But no, I do 100% agree, as Rose says. It has its niche where it is very strong. It's just, I don't know, something else.
Cool. It's like, you know,
Oh,
you
it's
think
very
of a Dark
thematic.
Knight, it's like,
Yeah.
you're like, you know, oh, I turn basically undead. That's cool.
Mhm. It is, yeah. But I'm not sure what I'd do with it in that regard. I think I have some minor gripes with it, but it's. I'm also not. I played Dark Knight for E8S Prog, and that's really about it. So, but yeah, to circle back as we're saying about parrying, because I will say as well, going through T, I've noticed that parry will work on the busters from Living Liquid, which is great, but it does provide inconsistency. Just saying, as it for a tanking mechanic, it is, especially in ultimates when you're spreadsheeting everything out and planning things. I know talking to my healers, like, okay, so how come when we first started that, how come this pool you're taking this much and then this pool you're taking almost twice as much? And it's like, well, I parried the buster this time and I didn't the other time. When you're trying to like min max that out, it's a bit odd. So, like I said, I do like the idea of Gunbreaker falling into being like the physical damage mitigation tank. I just wonder if parry will see some tweaks or some changes, or that ability camouflage will see some changes.
I would like to see camouflage have some sort of a change.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just upping the mitigation a little bit.
Or a system where like it guarantees you parry, and parry is a flat percentage of reduction.
Yeah.
Something like that. So it becomes very niche into the. I mean, you could even take away the 10% and just say you're guaranteed to parry for this section. That will be
It's basically Shell Trump but parry.
20. Yeah, exactly. I think that would be maybe a neat way to, and it then fits it really nicely into that physical mitigation kind of style.
Okay. Anyway,
And now,
Mhm.
now we're going over to the heal tank. So Taro, again, same question. What do you want to see Warrior get? Unfortunately, we have seen a sort of boxing match AoE that Warrior has gotten. How do you feel about that?
Man, I like listening to Java and Gunbreaker, and I'm like, yeah, man, Gunbreaker's solid, and then you get to Warrior, and it's like, oh man, it needs a lot of work. So yeah, I definitely agree. Gunbreaker's in a quick one on Gunbreaker. It's in a super good spot. I think optimizing that continuation, because we've definitely seen in a lot of high-end players are, they're starting to use certain add-ons that make continuation one button, which is starting to be a trend for quality of life. So if they reduce that button bloat, that would really polish Gunbreaker. And I think, Gunbreaker as the physical mitigation would be awesome. I don't think it's got too much work to do to get to that identity, but with Warrior, for me, Warrior in its current state, it needs a lot of work to have its own identity in the expansion. So right now, it's an axe using class that has almost like the highest personal mitigation and crazy self heal, but then in statistics, that it is one of the lower damaging tanks, especially when you compare it to a paladin. Now, if I take an image of a warrior and I take an image of a paladin with a sword and shield, if I show it my grandma and I say, which one do you think hits harder? They're probably going to say the one with the axe. But in the current patch, the paladin destroys warrior in DPS, which identity-wise doesn't sit too well with me. I almost feel it should be the opposite. I feel you should have a gunbreaker up there, a warrior up there, and then you have the paladin towards the bottom in damage, and have more of a physical/party mitigation sort of meta. Whereas with warrior, I actually think warrior should have less mitigation and more self-healing. So back when we had Bloodbath, it was absolutely insane. And Naskant Flash is a decent version of that. But I still think with abilities like Shake It Off, I personally would make Shake It Off be a selfish ability. I think the warrior should be a very selfish, self-healing class to help its identity stand out from those such as Paladin. So abilities like Shake It Off, where it provides party mitigation, I would tune those more towards having regen. So maybe Shake It Off gives the party some health through the warrior's damage. I think the damage should be what helps the warrior mitigate, not the defensives. But we've got a bit of reverse where Paladin is better as the off tank in a lot of situations with its off globals and its what's that ability called? The shield you can put on people.
You talking about Divine Veil?
No, the other one. The
Intervention.
Intervention, yeah. Whereas I think Paladin should be more ahead of the pack, providing a lot more party mitigation, and the warrior should be a lot more in its own right, which helps it kind of define itself a little bit more. So I think more in that terms of identity. So stuff like Home Gang, I think just a full upgrade. Have Home Gang be this badass chain with spikes coming out of it. Have it actually work a lot of the time, because you Home Gang some stuff, and it's kind of hit and miss. Some stuff gets stuck, some stuff doesn't get stuck. Some stuff still moves with you when you're Home Gang it, and the chain is kind of bugged in general. So make it a lot more berserker-like in the expansion is what I'd like to see for it. To really make it stand out and up its damage. They did a little bit of potency gain with Warrior recently, but it's still not quite enough. As for abilities, just like in the benchmark video, we got to see what looks like an upgraded upheaval, maybe an AoE upheaval at the start of the benchmark where the axe disappears and you have those 3 horizontal strikes. That looks very much like an AoE, and I could see them upgrading the current animations, much like with Gunbreaker's Burst Strike with that underarmed stance. I could see that being upgraded over the current Burst Strike to help reduce button bloat. And I know Square Enix has been reducing button bloat over time, so I could see them doing that much more in this expansion by upgrading current abilities and not adding too many to that.
Which is good.
Yeah, is good. You don't want to have too many buttons going on in the grand scheme of things.
That is true. But I actually want to touch on you with the obviously with the
1 second. Exalted Panda said, why not have warriors select one party member that also benefits from their self-heal for 10 seconds so they still have the healing but also a way to help? Kind of, I guess that's kind of like a healing cover, you could say.
They do have that.
They do have that.
That's Nascent Flash, right?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
Nascent Flash.
Yeah, it's got that
Okay.
with Nascent.
That's basically what it is.
NASCAR Flash.
But the whole, a warrior should be that selfish tank, and I think it should be able to, it can heal itself, through damage. Why can't that be that? Because I remember the days of good old Inner Beast, where it used to, that was your mitigation. You upheat, you got a bit of health back, and was it 5% or 10% damage reduction? Was it 5%? It's like 5%. But touching on that kind of AoE kind of health to give to the party, they're up their maximum HP up. I think that would be good, because in WoW they do have that. It's called Rallying Cry, and that gives a lot of people a small bit of heal, but also ups their maximum HP up for I think it was 25 seconds, I think. And having that for a big AoE party wiper, I think that would be good. I'd like to see that.
Oh yeah, I don't think they know what they're doing, because Warrior has been through so many major changes. There was a time, I forgot the patch, but there was a time where Warrior was so broken that they changed the class mid-patch instead of leaving it till an expansion. So Warrior certainly had its ups and downs. They've also, I'm going to bring it up, man, Butcher's Block. I don't know what they're doing. Why is Butcher's Block not on Warrior? One of the best animations, one of the most identifiable animations for a warrior, butchering things and having that up-down swing. And then we just get Maim and Storm's Eye. Oh, man, I will never understand that decision. But then again, one part of the thing we all suffer from tanks is having multiple patches where, one, strength accessories were BIS, so we had to use monk accessories, and then two, bringing in tank materia, tenacity, which has very niche uses, don't get me wrong, but you still have tanks going D-hit, determination, crit, And how long has Tenacity been broken for? It's been broken for a long time, right? So maybe this expansion they'll get tank materia right and not scuff it up like they've done now. So I think tanks as a whole get the identity of Warrior and Dark Knight and get the materia sorted and done and dusted.
I think the biggest issue with sorry, I was going to say the biggest issue I think with materia is also because you need completely different materia for Warrior than you do any other tank.
Oh yeah, no, it's painful.
That's what I was going to say as well. Yeah. I personally really enjoy playing Warrior, but that differentiation, I'm not going to farm. I mean, I will. I love Savage too much, but I'm hesitant to farm a whole second mist set.
Yeah, a whole different set of a different thing, and it's like.
And then you can't just have them both in your inventory and your armory shit, like your gear chest. You gotta go swap them out in saddlebags and everything.
That's really annoying.
Yeah, so I do wonder if going into Endwalker, if they'll tweak the way that Warrior works in that regard with its stat distribution, or if they'll go that way with all the tanks, where tanks burst windows are guaranteed crit direct hit, and maybe they try and incentivize tanks away from melding direct hit.
It could be, yeah. I think the fact that you can meld direct hit when none of the gear is meant to have it on is kind of scuffed in itself. So I think if I was to try and fix materia, I would have tanks. I would rework Tenacity, rename it, do whatever you want to call it, and I would lock them out of melding direct hit. Just make it simple, make it effective, and then allow multiple materia sets. Maybe a 2 materia swap glamour dresser at a time.
Oh, that would be amazing.
White Mage can still do direct hit, right? Please, I want that.
no. You get your whatever
meld piety,
whatever material you use, dude, piety or whatever.
I'm not melding piety. I'd rather go into the raids with no melds.
I remember the times where you had to meld accuracy, and
no, don't go there, don't. I missed my.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that because I've been playing Classic WoW recently, and I've seen the resist, dodge. I've been like, bro, I fucking missed that shit. That shit was good.
Accuracy, Jesus. Yeah.
I agree with. Sorry if you're saying name wrong. I'm just going to call you Eureka because that reminds. I would rather go in with no gear than meld piety.
But then,
why is the Lalafell naked? Because pie.
He's just doing some upstanding thing. He's just fighting for freedom of white mages. That's why he's naked.
I'll never forget that Savage run where the tank was like, "Why am I dying so fast?" Well, and we cleared. It took we had this. I can't remember what floor it was. We had it on farm, right? We'd been farming it for 3 weeks, and that 1 week he kept dying a lot. And we're like, why? And then we cleared, and then we realized he hadn't got pants equipped.
Oh no!
So we'd been doing the entire time without pants.
Yeah, I will say on the subject of tank melds, I think yes, as you mentioned about Tenacity, it needs some kind of change to it because the only time you ever really want to use it as a tank is if you're doing potentially world prog and it's a minimal threshold because the stat doesn't scale well at all. You just need to hit that first little threshold, then you're like, okay, well now I just go back to direct hit. Even if I'm doing something where I'm min geared. And the same for ultimates. A little bit of extra tenacity, but there's no benefit to continuing to add it on. I do quite like the concept of tenacity and piety being prog stats. When you need that extra safety cushion, they're there. And then you have, as a tank, as you get more gear, as you outgear a fight, you can start to spec into more DPS. As you have that leniency to say, okay, I don't need to have as much flat damage reduction in my gear. I can start to build some more DPS. My party can start to kill faster. Maybe skip mechanics, optimize the fight a little bit. I do like that threshold. But as I say, right now with where Tenacity is in the spot, it is just, you don't get enough bang for your buck.
Yeah, Square Enix don't. They're really bad at simplifying what the stats mean. For example, in Zadnor, when you get stacks of Valor, increase your DPS. They don't tell you by how much. You have to go to the balance. You have to go to the Theory Crafters, and you have to say, I need 364 of this stat to get through this threshold. Square Enix could just simplify how these stats are told to players, especially for those who don't go to the balance, and say, right, if you have this materia, it's going to give you so and so much damage and so much mitigation. And then you don't have to guess, and you don't have to try and crunch the numbers on ACT over like the course of 2 days on a dummy. So they could definitely be better in translating how these stats are going to work for the overall player base.
Mm. Oh, I remember when I first started, I had so many questions about what potency was. I was like, what exactly does potency mean? Well, it's the damage you do.
Yeah,
like,
what's determination?
What's
like,
the maths on that? Like, how does that potency translate? Like, oh, you've got your base strength, and then that's worth like 10 of your first stat and 100 to 250 of your secondary stat. Like, my brain.
I guess that all the time, man. I'm like, okay, 30 potency. I just go hit a dummy. I'm like, okay, it's this much damage. Like, that's stuff like that. Just make it super simple and easy to understand.
But no, we don't get the simple life.
I mean, remember when we had PvP stats?
PvP is a different. Yeah, God, that's a different.
PvP is a different episode.
And I was about to bring this up soon. No, we got to talk about Taru TV here, right? Because he does warrior PvP.
He is, and he's a great guy. Like, if you ever seen some of his small little clips he does on Twitter, they're great.
PvP is a different kettle of fish, man. They're just the developers. Think of what they've done to tanks in PvE with like materia and how long it took to get strength accessories. Now think of PvP being 10 years behind the speed that they update PvE tanks, and that's what you'll get. So that
my eye just started twitching in pain.
Yeah, like paladins in PvP used to have their own identity, and they used to carry a lot of games, and then it got nerfed over. But,
so how do you feel about the Feast kind of being in its final season?
Very good. If you look at the every time Square Enix on Twitter do a feast, the feast is coming up. It's always popcorn when you read the comments. And if you read the comments, even all the veterans are like, "Oh, please don't be a good reward. Don't be Cruise Chaser. Please don't be Cruise Chaser," because they're tired of the feast as well. They're ready for a mode that is new, that is fresh, that the developers actually want to put time into. So,
Exalted Panda says, "I'm going to be honest, as a new player just looking through the MSQ. I started trying to look into min-max stats. Yeah, worry about that later." But yeah, sorry, carry on, Taru.
But yeah, I think the feast is. Let's be honest. Most people do the feast for the reward that not many people are going to have. Outside of that, there's an even smaller population that do it competitively. So I would probably like to see them do a new mode or translate a lot of this stuff into front lines or something like that, because there's not a big enough population for it, in all honesty. And there's some great community. The community is carrying PvP, so shout out to PvP Revival. They're really keeping PvP going. So without the community keeping it going, it would be even worse than it is. So big shout out to anyone that runs that sort of side of stuff. But,
and here's me staying up at 6 a.m. doing BGs and arena with some
I
friends.
love front lines. And I don't mind the feast, but the devs certainly.
They're adding a new small mode, a small man mode. Could this be Feast 2.0? Where it's now
they're unifying everything, so there won't be a tank, there won't be a healer, there won't be a DPS. There'll just be.
It sounds
just be the Warrior of Light.
Just the Warrior of Light.
Because technically we can already heal because we've got potions and stuff like that already.
Yeah. The meta's changed quite a bit in the feast. It's just not much else.
I think my goal is to try the feast hard next season, so I can try and get a reward on the last one.
Give it a try. Like anyone can get to gold with enough practice, so it'll be getting to platinum and above. That will be the nice challenge.
It's going to be trying to find the time.
Yeah, because it's only active a certain amount in the day. If you try and get a game before like 6 p.m, it's not going to happen.
Well, I played on North American servers, so.
Okay.
And McLeod says, "Chili Saint of the Feast." Yeah, if I get that'd be the only title I'd get. If right now I've got the Saint of the Firmament as my main title because I went nuts getting that. And I say never again, but we all know that as soon as Ishgard Restoration happens, I'm doing it again.
Oh no! Why would you put yourself through that?
Ishgard Restoration? Oh no, you mean aluminium?
No, I mean again.
Thermal Restoration. Garlemald
Restoration. Yeah.
I'm gonna break Ishgard again just to restore it again.
Yeah. Dragon Song War 2.0. Let's go.
But, Warriors kind of is it's okay. It's not great. It's okay. But Dark Knight, oh man, that Dark Knights, they need the most support right now. Let's be honest. TBN that's it. You go Dark Knight for TBN. Dark Knight's really good if you're not very good at spreadsheeting. So because TBN is it's up all the time. So if you're not very good at spreadsheeting, which let's say Paladin is probably one of the strongest sort of spreadsheeting classes, I'd say. Go Dark Knight because you can just pop TBN. Oh, forgot mitigation TBN. Forgot mitigation TBN. And you'll be sorted.
I mean,
and you'll get free damage out of it when it procs. So
I've been leveling Dark Knight. I've been leveled Dark Knight via PvP, so I don't know what the buttons are. I'm like level 41 Dark Knight, and all I've done is I've done a couple of leveling roulettes, but every time I've done leveling roulette, it's put me in Ifrit story mode. So
that's bad. That's the best. You get the XP straight away.
Yeah,
I know, but at the same time, it means that when I'm going into actual content, I'm like, I have buttons on my bar.
What does this button do?
These aren't PvP buttons.
Yeah, that's interesting though, because you talking about Dark Knight has got me circling back to what you mentioned about warriors, like party mitigation. Because obviously right now Shake's a shield, and you're saying like make it into like a HP raise for everyone in the party. Well, I mean TBN to me is one of the most fun tank mechanics, like most rewarding if you actually invest the time into it, like getting the timing down on it. Like if you actually make sure it breaks every time. I would say like Dark Knight isn't for spreadsheeting, but if you do spreadsheet it a little bit, you can get some like really nice value out of it. And it's kind of nuts. And I want to see Dark Knight's identity go more that way. Like maybe because I mean, what's crazy to me right now is the party mitigation is level 72. So if you decide to take Dark Knight into a level 70 ultimate, you are griefing without party mitigation. Like that's crazy that it's at that point to me, because it does kind of rule the job out of taking it into that kind of content. So I mean, A, shift it down to below level 70, and B, maybe make that a shielding kind of party mitigation. Something much like TBN, where you use it at the right time on the big raid wide, it breaks, and maybe give the party a damage buff. I don't know like how Square Enix's design is with tanks giving parties damage buffs, but everyone gets a wee bit of just a little juice.
We do have a Gunbreaker question in the chat. Tip and Soul, I've never done any high-end content, but main Gunbreaker. So I've never really noticed a mitigation problem. Am I doing it wrong, or is it more relevant to AX Savage and Horma?
Yeah, I would probably say the biggest thing with Gunbreaker compared to the other ones when it comes to mitigation is, I mean, you've got your Rampart and your 30%. They're pretty standard. It depends on the frequency of your busters and when they're coming in. Like a lot of the other ones, you've got that extra cooldown, which will sort of take the brunt of another buster. It's not unbearable and it's playable around. It does have its strengths, but it's still very doable. I think what's interesting as well is the fact that Gunbreaker's party mitigation is just a clone of Dark Knight's. It's just the same thing. It's just magic resistance, which I guess, like I say, if they change Dark Knights to be a shield, magic resistance kind of feels thematic for Gunbreaker with
I mean, from the Endwalker trailer, at least the benchmark, it looks like Paladin is stealing the Darkest Night from Dark Knight.
Oh yeah, they're dropping shields on themselves now,
Yeah.
which might be like an upgraded bulwark animation or something like that.
Yeah, they need more shield abilities for sure.
No, actually, I think that might be the new fucking cover, because cover is fucking useless.
They butchered it.
Yeah.
They butchered it. Like, why? It was a good ability.
Absolutely.
Before you butchered it.
You know what else they butchered? Friggin'
Butcher's Block.
Butcher's Block. And you know what else they butchered? Scourge. Was it Scourge? The amazing dot with the best animation on Dark Knight. They just ripped it out for no reason.
So that's the one I keep hearing about. Like when people talk about Dark Knight, it's, as you say, it's got the fun of the mana management that's still there to a degree, but Delirium very much just being a discount in a release and just a lack of unique rotational identity. That's the one that always comes up. Everyone who's played before Shadowbringers goes, "Oh, have you heard of the dot the Dark Knight used to have?" I'm like, wait a second, tell me more. They show you the animation. It looks amazing.
Yeah, Dark Knight. I was surprised about how nerfed down the rotation's gone, because I was gearing it up the other day for just doing the Hell's Lid to try and get the mount. I was like, oh shit, it's only one combo and a bunch of globals, and it's like, oh man, it's butchered it.
I would really love to see Dark Knight get some love for Endwalker. Like I think it's something I always try and provide context to, because whenever I get into tank discussions, I do always say like, if there's one that needs the work, it's Dark Knight. And I don't want Dark Knight to be a bad class. By the complete opposite, I would love to see it be fantastic. So I do hope. I imagine after getting what most people seem to talk of as a bit of a rougher end of the stick with Shadowbringers, I am hoping it will get some love in Endwalker with what's coming.
I mean, like how Dark Knight used to be, where it was basically the magic kind of tank. You know, like Duriblium was a thing you put on the boss. If it does magical damage, it lowers it. It was basically like an adder what we had now. That's what, but it was an ability that you could put on. It did a little bit of damage, and it put it on, and that's what it had. It was amazing. Like when when did I do it? It was in A12S. Like that's when I really started playing my Dark Knight a lot more. Back then, I used to play Paladin a lot. It was so good. It was so good. It was like, okay, now I'm just gonna put a little bit of magic. Like, I miss it. And Scourge, where you just stab and just release. It's like, why get rid of good animations to make it just an edgy version of a warrior?
The fix for tanks is a direction Square Enix doesn't want to go. So the fix for tanks is to give them back their unique identity. So Dark Knight is the magic tank, Paladin is the party mitigation, and then your Gunbreaker is your physical, and then your warrior is your regen with lower mitigation. But they're doing the opposite. They're making tanks feel all the same, especially with the roll skill action that basically gave all these abilities to all the tanks. And then they had the roll skill action with back when it had ultimatum, the AoE provoke. How long did that last? So it seems that they just throw stuff in, then fix it out the next patch. So it can either go two ways in Endwalker. They'll make everything similar and it'll just be scuffed, or they go back on what they've done and they give these unique identities. But then that's going to obviously create more of a meta. Square Enix don't seem to like metas from what I've seen.
Yeah, I was going to say, like Roche has put up in chat, like the concern with the meta. I do agree with that. I don't want to see a situation where you get to a certain fight and someone's like, oh, sorry, we're not going to take Gunbreakers or Warriors or Paladins or Dark Knights for this fight because they're just not good enough. I think a bit of similarity in the 20-30% party mitigation access to Reprisal is good. It is that extra mitigation skill like Camouflage, Dark, Mind, or Missionary, whichever one it is. Intervention, things like that gives them that little bit of unique flavor. I will admit it's going to be a fine balancing act to make them have that bit of uniqueness without it significantly weakening them. But as we were talking earlier about the mitigation in endgame content for Gunbreaker and stuff, I mean, for most savages, you won't notice that. Even in most situations in Ultimate, you won't notice it. It's only really in very niche circumstances where you are min-maxing something out that you go, ooh, okay, this is better. But it's not at the point where it's such a difference that it becomes like, oh yeah, we won't take this for this savage fight, even on like reclears, just because it's fundamentally wrong. So yeah, it's a tricky line to walk, 100%. I wouldn't want to see them go towards the meta, but it is nice to see them be a bit unique in their own way too, for sure.
Yeah, I think we have a different challenge because with DPS, you've got the route of I'm going to give this type of buff, or I'm going to be a selfish DPS with super high damage for myself. With tanks, you kind of like, well, I can give you this buff, I can give you that buff, but it's all mitigation. So I think with the tanking, it needs to maybe change on the actual damage mitigation front, which is a big change. Because as you know, the boss meta for damage is like, I'm going to poke you for a bit, and then here's a big cast bar, mitigate it, sort it out, and here's another cast bar. Historically, the most dangerous bosses have actually been the ones that don't cast bar. So actually, the very first raid boss, very first raid boss, the snake, the one that Asmongold recently cleared, where he has a tail swipe and a hood swipe. What's his name?
Ifrit?
Coil turn 1.
You're talking about Caucasus.
That boss,
Caucasus.
One of the hardest hitting bosses, I would say, to this day. Even like, you got gear now that helps you out, but that boss was nasty. He'd swipe his head in, headbutt you, and there was no cast bars. It was like auto, and the autos were brutal. And a lot of the mechanics nowadays are: here's a big cast bar, here's some damage. With the exception of like back when A3S had its original difficulty, Living Liquid would just slap you with the right hook, which was nasty.
Yeah.
Which he still does in Ultimate. So
Yeah, and that's something interesting on the subject of Ultimates, because I assume Dragon Song War Ultimate, being Heaven's Ward content, will probably follow that similar design of all the content without the cast bars. Maybe that could be a way to define it, is if you're really into that hardcore endgame raiding for Ultimates, even once we get into Stormblood Ultimates and maybe even down the line Shadowbringers fights coming back as Ultimates, keep them in that lack of cast bar way. Make that part of that difficulty curve up the way. Because I don't think everything needs to be like that. I think there is a very reasonable and very fair learning curve in this game for progressing through things. And I like the fact that when you get to the hardest tier, it's like, okay, now you're dealing with bosses. And granted, I don't have the experience of playing back in the day, so it's a bit of a different point of view for me. When you get to the hardest bosses, it goes, now we're taking away these cast bars. Now you just got to know the timing. Which I think is quite interesting.
You can have to like count in your head, like
Mhm.
one. Now press it. You know,
You're counting your
like
GCDs. You're like
counts.
1,
Yeah.
2, V, 3, B.
Oh, one. Here's one punch. Here's two punch. Here's the big left swing. So mitigate that. Like count the actual
wait there.
animations.
Wait, that's the goblin, right? I remember that. Wasn't the goblin like big swings and then stuns you and then you get vulnerability in your tank swap?
Well, to a degree, Living Liquid is also
Okay.
the same.
I was
He
thinking of the
punches you a bit,
goblin
then
from-
then he does a big swipe.
I can't remember the name of that goblin, but you know the fight where he gets big and you got to become a bird and then there's monkeys.
Yeah. That was.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was cool. That was good.
yeah. It wasn't
Oh,
as hard
that
as
was- yeah, it was a good
Living
fight.
Liquid, but still, it was a fun fight.
It was fun. You know, you get to become like Harambe for like a good little bit for it as well. Like,
And so you get to be a vulture and
Yeah.
you get this steroided out Chimera that comes out. He's so
Oh my
hench and muscular.
God.
You got to pull him away from the boss. And
No,
You
the worst boss I hate to tank is fucking Midgar Summer, and that fucking stupid dragon ad.
Ah,
That stupid dragon ad where you had to, your off tank needs to provoke you and like shirk you real quick. If it doesn't happen, that poor fucking off tank is dead. They get doomed and they're dead. Do you know how many times I died in that fight? Nearly 100% of the time. I never got a good pass. Never got a good pass. Do you know why? That fucking stupid dragon.
I remember that Midgar Summer fight, and we laughed because I had to send, because I was streaming, I had to send them the clip because of my ping. I died to the, not the, like he does like the flares across the room in like a plus, a cross, or a line or whatever it was. I was in the corner right next to the wall, as far as you could get to the wall, but I still got hit by the line across because of the ping. And they were laughing. It's like, how did you get hit? I don't know. I'm nowhere near anything.
I've always wanted a tank that
Yeah, extra flare. Not extra flares.
did its damage when it got hit. So say like,
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone plays Diablo. Everyone knows the Diablo.
Mhm.
But Thorn Sader or Thorn's Crusader, where their damage is like every time they got hit, they did damage. Like they get hit, the boss takes damage. Like Vengeance for
Yeah,
Warrior.
like Vengeance.
Yeah.
You know, I
Grimasaur
want
says
a
like a
tank like
reflect
that.
tank.
Yeah, like a reflect tank. I've always wanted that just because I like that sort of stuff because I love getting hit, and if I can get damage on for getting hit, it's like, yeah, that's fucking dope.
I think the only thing that is like that, to my knowledge, is Vengeance,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the
which
only
is a
thing.
very minor. It's a very minor thing of the warrior that could also be expanded on more. So.
Yeah,
Well,
just,
you brought up Asmongold earlier. Has everyone else been watching him all the time and addicted
Oh,
to his
definitely.
gameplay?
Yeah, it's so
Mhm.
entertaining. It's so entertaining.
I love that he's
I-
giving the game a fair chance. Like he's
Yeah.
just actually going and experiencing it all. It's great.
I've delayed. I'll be honest. I've delayed streams by a few minutes where I'm like just trying to watch the last part of like I'm not watching. I like, oh shit, he's nearly done this kill. He's nearly done the kill.
You look at the time, you're like, oh god, sorry guys, I had something come up.
Yeah.
Internet issues.
Ah,
And he's on your speakers. Oh, ignore that. That's just that's my soundboard.
Definitely yes, definitely yes.
but no, yeah, I've been. I for me, it's got to be all the mistake names which we all have done. I'd do it all the time still, but it's so funny just to see someone that's gone into the game and say the names completely wrong, because so many names make no sense if you don't know any contents to any of them.
The fact that he calls Urianger Uber Danger breaks me every time he does it.
No fucking way he calls him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uber Danger.
No.
Yeah, Slaughter. My favorite cat girl.
Oh god,
Lisa
Lisa Lamassa.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I just pull a
Yeah.
question up from chat that I noticed? Was
Sure, fire away.
what I would want to make tanks feel unique? I think the biggest thing in my mind that tanks need to feel unique is that personal, like, class-specific mitigation. You've got your 20 or 30 year reprisal. That personal one, your party mitigation, like Heart of Light, Shake It Off, things like that. And then the rotation of damage and how that plays. I think that has to be something that needs to make them feel unique as well. That's why I say with Warrior and Dark Knight is rotationally they play a little bit too similarly. While with Gunbreaker, you've got your cartridge building and your like burst combos. With Paladin, you've got 3 separate rotations that you rearrange within a fight to find the most optimal way to maintain consistent damage uptime. And then with Warrior and Dark Knight, it's like you have these big burst windows and then simple combo, and big burst windows and then simple. And while it is a completely fine way to design them, having both of them play the same way, I think that would need to be something that would play a bit different. Maybe do more with the mana management of Dark Knight rather than it just basically just saving that mana and that blood gauge until the time comes that you pop all your cooldowns in a non-guaranteed crit direct hit burst window like Warrior. So that would be the 3 big things for me: is rotation, personal mitigation, and party mitigation.
What about if you could have like because Dark Knight has always had such a mana base. It used to be such a mana based class until Shadowbringers. What if they gave them like a magic rotation, like they gave Paladin a magic rotation?
And then it'll kind of play a bit like Paladin then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'll kind of play like Paladin.
Yeah.
I'd say.
I think they should do some more stuff with their pet, as I call it, or basically it's
Frey.
Dot. Yeah, Freya.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically just a glorified Dot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like with Reaper coming into the game, you know, they basically have a sort of Freya-like stuff, and then you know they merge with their Voidling and do a bunch of damage. And yeah, you already know I'm playing that next generation.
What about making it like Bunshin on Ninja, where it will mimic the stuff that you're doing? So you're going to want to line it up with certain parts of your burst.
See, that would be good, but would they also do the mitigation, say, like TBN? Would they cast a TBN as well? Does that make it stronger? You know? It's like, say if I used, what was it called? The AoE one that we were just talking about earlier. You know, do they do it as well, but give it kind of like some, I don't know, something good.
I like the idea of it powering your defenses as well. The only issue being is that obviously with the way that damage windows and burst windows work in this game, it would be tricky to line it up in such a way that it would be viable unless you've got like a high uptime shadow that you then, I don't know, that would be a tricky one. Like how would you have it out on demand when you want it at the right times? And how would you manage that without some parts of it becoming obsolete would be my biggest concern. I love the idea, but yeah, trying to think how you'd execute that.
Yeah,
That's the reason I'm not a game designer, by the way.
I do really think they need to get rid of the Deriblium kind of stuff. I think they just need to get rid of that and like doing like how like inner releases. They should just make it like how they should just like fuse with like Freya or something. Like at the end they just fuse with Freya and that's their burst window and they just get a whole new like kind of move kit.
You spend from the blood gauge and it summons Frey and then
then like they do this like little dot thing and then like coming up to the end of it you can kind of merge with Freya and you just do like a bunch of like burst damage or something. Or it can enhance your damage reduction or something. I don't know.
Grimasaur says, I wonder if they can do something like an HPMP sacrifice to heal each other. I remember because I was at FanFest where this got announced in London, which was, by the way, the most disappointing FanFest I've ever been to because it was one day. Seriously, Square, why did you think that was a good idea? Make it one day, and that day is also the day you have to pick up your tickets.
Right, you say this every episode, don't you?
Yeah, I will always say it until we get a good FanFest. Are you that
hurt by it? Are you that hurt?
I am. But no, there was a white mage that said they didn't want to heal the Dark Knight.
That's understandable.
Because Dark Knight in 11 would sacrifice itself to do damage.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
think HP sacrificing on a tank is really tricky.
That should
It's
be
a nice
for-
idea. Yeah, it's a nice idea in theory, but in practice, no. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're gonna make your healers do extra work, they're gonna
Yeah, Rose.
complain at you.
I think it was like 5% of your maximum HP every hit you did. You lost health as an ability, and it was like 20 seconds, I think. Yeah, Dark Knight wasn't a tank in 11, but still, they didn't know Dark Knight was a tank in 14 until they announced that on the second slide. They just saw
That's
Dark
true,
Knight
yeah,
and
yeah.
like, no, we're not doing that.
I mean, you saw what happened when DPS had blood for blood and it gave you damage up. People were popping blood for blood on low health when an AoE is about to come out. So they take away these little niche things like taking away health and so on because people just they can't play with it. I mean, if you try healing a Dark Knight in PF when they do Living Dead, they don't even tell you. It's already scuffed as it is.
I'm incredibly grateful for any Dark Knight that uses a macro when they pop Living Dead. It's
The
just
worst ones when they don't say anything and like, bro, where am I Living Dead? It's like, how? I don't have eyes in the back of my head. I got a massive boss in front of me slapping me in the face, and I played Lalafell with a low camera angle. I can't even see the top of the boss in most fights. You want me to see you?
I didn't know
That's
you
one
were
thing,
me.
by the way. Bosses are they're not Lalafell friendly. Every boss,
No, they're not.
oh, it's like waving its arms around. It's got like it blinks twice. It's an AoE, and then you got the Lalafell. Oh, I can see the kneecaps. That's cool. Oh, let me adjust my camera. Oh, I can't see my character. My hotbar's over it.
I
The
don't know
game
how.
is not Lalafell friendly.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone would ever fight brute justice as a LFL. Your entire
Oh,
stream would
I've
just
done
be-
it, and it's painful.
Yeah.
Oh, you have my respect because like that boss is bad enough as a Vieira, like with a good camera angle and like a good view. Like, yeah, Lalafell, I did a little bit of I think it was 7 last year as a meme. I did that on Lala, and yeah, just getting used to the camera angle immediately. I was like, I don't like this. I'm immediately
Brute
Fantasiaing back.
Brute Justice super jumping onto a Lalafell.
Oh,
I will
Look at
say
this,
though,
hold on,
I do have fun with some of the angles I can get with how big the enemies are. It just looks really cool in my opinion.
Oh, that's it. Chili, give me more. I'm going to ban Exalted Panda. Nothing should be Lalafell friendly. That's it. What?
It's kind of great because we're also split when it comes to the stream. We've got 2 Vieras on one side and 2 Lalafells on the other. It's kind of great.
yeah, there is a divide forming in my community between those that love Lalafells and those that don't. The battle lines are drawn every day. I'm like, no, guys, it's okay. It's just a video game character. It's fine. Like,
Lalafell
we're out for blood.
They're the best race.
They're always out for blood. Also, I think it's been about 5 minutes now. I think we should do the giveaway before we continue.
Yeah.
to
Also, I'm getting a
this.
call from someone I don't know. Although I also can't hear it. It's making sure that it's not going through the recording. Okay, good. There's no notifications. I don't know why someone's trying to call me. But I'm not going to answer. Okay.
Hello.
They're trying to get on the podcast, dude. They're like, I got something to say. Put me on.
I was trying to say, is your car extended warranty? What?
This
You
is
should
your
raise your
bank at 11
PvP.
p.m.
Yes, we can do that actually. Chili,
What's that?
a PvP team, the Lalas versus the Vieras. Let's go, Chili.
Sure. Yeah. Let's go, Lalas. And the winner has to become a cat
Lalafell.
boy.
And the loser has to become a Lalafell.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to pick a winner. Okay. Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
McLeod won again, somehow.
The cheats.
McLeod, do you want me to re-roll or do you want to take it? Because I know you said you've won a few recently and you weren't sure
Do
if
you
you
want
wanted
me
to
to
enter.
re-roll this peer pressure?
Well, no, he sent me a message saying the fact that he wasn't even going to enter until. So,
Are they a Lalafell?
no, they're not Lalafell. That's why I'm giving this.
Reroll.
Yeah, he's right. He did say, see? But if you want to keep it, you can keep it. If not, okay, you'll take it anyway. Thought so.
I mean, it's a big black chocobo, like.
So make sure you tune into McLeod streams later tonight where he'll give away a black fat chocobo.
The endless cycle. No,
Nah, he's probably going to keep it. He's going to use it.
Give him a follow.
Also, while we talk about follows, go follow Java Monkey. I know we'll shout him out at the end, but please just go give them a follow if you're not following right now.
Go subscribe to Taru TV.
Yeah, go subscribe to Taru TV on
I
YouTube.
I'm not a Twitch boy.
Yeah,
Go to my YouTube instead.
I mauled daily in Savage PF. It's great content.
I mean, I spent hours just gathering stuff for coffee biscuits recently on stream, so...
Oh, I do the same for Mythril Files. I actually genuinely enjoy it for streams because it's nice because you're just relaxing and just getting the chance to interact with everyone and just chat away. I'm not wiping a PF raid because I'm chatting to looking at chat and I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is Titan boulders and I'm stood in the middle with a blue. Oh no.
Oh no, I do that for my stack anyway, and I'm just like, yep. Right, you sent up the other giveaway, Chili?
Yeah.
The giveaway. And for all you guys that just listen to this via Podbeam, Spotify, you can get in the giveaways. All you gotta do is come to twitch.tv, Moogle Go Round Radio. Every now and day Thursday.
Okay, this is subscribers only. You can have a chance to win a lunar whale. So if you want a chance at this, you have to be subscribed to Moogle Go Round Radio. I did say I was going to do this after the show, but we'll just do it now. So, yeah, anyway, subscribers only. So good luck. Anyway, back to the podcast.
Back to the big pod.
You know, one thing that they could help improve with tanking is give us something to do tank-wise in dungeons.
True. So just pick it all up and just go to the end.
The amount of times I just just fall asleep doing AoE. I've always said they should make it so they should have a roulette that automatically just upscales all the old dungeons. Because how cool would it be to do Ampador Keep upscale to level 90? And just get some
How also would it be able to
variation
do Auron Vale upscale to 90?
No. Forget that one. That one
no, Auron Vale is the best dungeon in this game. Prove me wrong.
We don't talk about that one.
I die on the best dungeon in the game.
Back in my day, that used to be a raid.
But I will kind of agree with you. It's a little thing, but in the twinning, for example, at level 80, you've got the interjects on some of the ads.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's a small thing, but just that to make a pack easier, interjects or stuns. Tanks have them in their kit. Make us use them in dungeons. It would be nice.
I love letting it go to the end of the cast ball, seeing all the DPS move out and be like, lol, stun. You thought I wouldn't stun it? Come on now.
But no, absolutely. More stuff like that where the tank has to use their stuns and interjects in dungeons, I would be a big fan of.
Yeah, let's stun bosses, man. Like dungeon bosses, let us stun them to do something. Because every expansion, I do the same thing, right? I go into a new dungeon for the first time. Let's do the Taru test. The Taru test is stand in all the boss AoEs and see if I die. And last expansion, easy. Nothing happened. So, punish me. That sounds wrong, but punish my tank. Give us something to do. Let us
Stream that giveaway isn't existed anymore. What the hell?
Yeah, I think you forgot.
Oh, it's gone. Someone stole it.
That giveaway doesn't exist. And yeah, that's the last mount. And, ignore that post. I don't know how that happened. I'll have to fix that. Boy, Flash using the wrong code.
The difference between Final Fantasy Raid
okay.
is kind of insane because in Final Fantasy it's mainly about there's no interrupt boss, interrupt this, and ads. There's been no fucking ads. I miss ads. Do you miss ads?
I liked EAS ads. Again, I'm going to get roasted by people who hate EAS, but I liked the ads in EAS. Using stuns, using interjects, like coordinating the order you'd do those in. That was a nice wee change of pace.
They've gotten really bad with not putting ads in. I remember when Paladin was a god on A3 Savage because they could shield bash the slimes that were trying to run to the edge. Like little stuff like that where it's not DPS or mitigation, it's mob control. I think mob control is
Mhm.
using tank positioning to move bosses or ads and stuff like that. That's the big one that we don't have too much of an opportunity for outside of, I'd say, ultimates and
Yeah,
boss bosses.
I'm going to fulfill Vane's prophecy in chat by saying something dumb. More jagged dolls.
Yes, more jagged dolls.
Wait, wasn't the
Oh, yeah.
jagged dolls once where you got hit and it like lowered your health and then you die if they touch?
That's yeah. They cleave. They cleave. Just keep people away from the cleave.
Yeah, don't touch tips.
But yeah, no, I definitely agree. I don't think 14 raids need like the ad packs between bosses that WoW raids have. I do very much like the system of just going into the boss arena and fighting.
Yeah,
But having ads within the fight definitely is something
that's what
I've enjoyed when they've come up in this game. Especially as an off tank. Like sometimes as an off tank, you're in some fights you are just a blue DPS who uses reprisal when it's needed.
That is true, and just tank swap. I think they should, do a lot more where the off tank, because then you're just going to make it that soon it's just going to be like 24 man, where it's just you just have one. I don't want that to happen. I want the 2 tank system to work. I want the off tank to actually do something other than just DPS.
There is there is 2 sides of the argument to the zoning into raids is nice, but there would be elements like with the first coil where if you have to fight mobs or ads to get to the boss, and you have those mobs have a low drop percentage of horizontal progression items, such as like triple triad cards or crafting recipes. That's one argument that I see a lot of people on either side of the bench. Like, yep, zoning into a boss, it's cool, get there. But I like to go into a dungeon where it's like you walk up coil, or like Black Temple in WoW, you go from the bottom of the temple to the top. Some people like that ad and story sort of fight with it. So there's 2 sides of it for that as well. I personally don't mind which one, but it would certainly help extend some of the raids, I'd say. Normal mode raids, which is obviously the one most people are doing.
I've been playing Classic, obviously. Classic, I've actually been enjoying Classic. It's such a chill kind of environment. So you're doing quest, chilling, and it's like, it's so like you have to like get drop chances. The drop chances are so bad, but also so good at the same time. Yes, you're constantly farming for this one mob, for one item, even for a bloody quest. It's like, no, I'm still having fun. I kind of want that in Final Fantasy. A little bit more RNG.
Flatter says, I don't care about the ads. I care about the zones being the whole raid, like Bahamut or Exalander. I like the feeling of crawling through a whole giant time robot to pieces of Dalamud. It immerses you in the raid, gives you life outside of its room and bosses. I would like to say yes and no on that for me. I'm going to go with my personal opinion on this. I like the idea. It's great in concept. I don't like it if I'm doing Savage. Now, if they have this in normal mode, that's fine. That's good. But in Savage, I just want to do my weekly fights and get out. I don't want to be wandering around and fighting trash mobs. I just want to go to my fight and leave.
Yeah, please.
I think that's a compromise. Having it in normal mode and then having the goddamn cutscenes that last 20 minutes only in normal mode.
That would be.
I mean, I think in this game they've kind of relegated. I don't want to say relegated might not be the right word, but they've moved that design to alliance raids, right? Like you get that experience in an alliance raid. Which granted is a very different raiding experience to even normal raids or savages. That's kind of the way you get it, I guess.
And alliance raids, you can tell that's where they put a lot of the quality, because goddamn, some of those alliance raid arenas are amazing.
Oh, I love getting hit by the Square Enix headquarters at the end of Tower of Paradise Breach. Makes my day every time.
Macauda's like, as long as we keep getting the Surge in the Ether.
No.
That says, yeah, but just make it really feel like Trials with a story arc. I mean, that'd be fine with normal mode, but with Savage, where people just want to get their clears, I don't think it's worthwhile having trash in between fights, because people aren't there for that.
This game is about, this MMO is not like WoW, where it's like you have to kind of put a lot of time in. Because you really do. To get good gear, to mid-mat, to raid, you need time, a lot of time to raid. In FF, sorry, you don't. Yeah, you can go on for 2 hours and get all your fights done and just go back off. It's for the people that do have jobs and don't, and have lives that only have like 2 to 3 hours a day. They can do an expert, they can grind some tomes, or they can raid, do a bit of PF, or join their stack. It's for people that don't have a lot of time, and that's what this Final Fantasy is. It's a casual MMO where you can come back and go in. Where WoW, if you even leave for 1 fucking week, you're far behind everyone else.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. That's why everyone's starting to hop over.
And to that point,
trash bombs, do PF.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Java.
Yeah, sorry, I was gonna say, yeah, on the subject of it being a casual MMO, like I do and don't agree, because I having played other MMOs and done like hardcore raiding in other MMOs and MMO like games, I've not experienced a raiding challenge quite like an ultimate fight, even in Mythics and WoW. Like there's some bits which are incredibly difficult and I don't want to underplay it at all, but an ultimate is something different. Like a boss gauntlet with very little room for mistakes or like error is a very like uniquely challenging experience. The way I've always tried to explain it, or like I've always figured it with this game, is it is casual for time investment, but there is a reward for high skill ceiling.
Yeah, but there is obviously that niche of like they are the minority.
Yeah, like for me, I find that it is more a case of if you are a hardcore player and you want to min-max your standard of play and your rotation, your execution of mechanics and things like that, there's a very, very high skill ceiling for that. But if you want to devote all that time, like in WoW, which is a different type of grind and a different type of enjoyment, and my Twitch just crashed, so I've lost chat. But you don't have that same kind of hardcore grind investment. I guess you maybe get that in Relics, but it's still, I don't know, WoW does that completely differently. And I did enjoy that long while, but you're really chasing that piece of gear that really had that high prestige because it was hard to find. At the same time, I don't know, maybe it's because I've gotten older and priorities have changed, but I have come to much more enjoy the thing that is gatekeeping me in this game from getting my gear isn't a god rolled Titan Forge piece. It is just, have I put in the time and the effort to learn these fights, execute them, and clear them up to a threshold? Could I get all my gear faster with good RNG? Yes. If I have bad RNG, will I still have the token system in place to be guaranteed to get it? Absolutely. So, yeah,
also, I'm probably gonna...
I'd say that's my way to explain it. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, I'm going to probably roll the giveaway soon because I think we've only got 3 people subbed right now in the chat. So we'll probably end it right at the end of the podcast. I know it's an hour, but I can cancel it early. Unless you want to sub, of course.
What was that? If you want to.
I did a Twitter poll and I was expecting people to say, no, please don't do that. But no, people voted that. So don't blame me.
Have you heard of Twitch Prime?
Twitch Prime. Go give it to Java Monkey. He's got really good emotes.
Oh, thank you very much.
I mean, us. I get no Java Monkey, really. Or Maelstrom Radio. They're in chat right now and they're very good as well. Or Talon, who we're in this podcast was all inspired by. Well, not Moogle Go Round, but this episode right now. We love you, Talon, but you didn't inspire Moogle Go Round because that'd be impressive because we met you after we started Moogle Go Round. Unless I've invented a time machine sometime in the future and I've gone back in time to tell myself about
and you
it.
do know him from Moogle Go Round. You know him from She Heals I Tank. So don't even fucking start. You don't even know what Moogle Go Round was.
Yeah, he knew me from She Heals I Tank, a completely different podcast that I'm not even part of, really. Yeah, it was in Labyrinth of the Ancients, and he shouted out, "Hello, everyone." I said, "Hello," and then he shouted out, "Oh, it's Chili from She Heals I Tank." Listen, we can discuss WoW next week if you like. Well, it looks like Flatus's appearance in the podcast has been cancelled somehow.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And we're not talking about WoW next week because you're going to be on afterwards. You're like in 4 weeks. So, because next time is Tib and Salt.
what I kind of like about Final Fantasy is that it does have like a set BIS, like set in stone kind of thing. It does change, like every now and then, like some math fucking high developed noggin. It's like, actually, if we put this here and put that there, we can get a little bit more DPS out of that. You know, and I respect those people that could put all that like brain power into that. Me, I kind of sit there and be like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna
you just look at the BIS list and it's like,
yeah.
I think you can. Skill speed is something that you can, if you get really high end into the game, you're doing speed kills or anything like that. You're doing those fights 50 times on FF logs. Skill speed is really one of those things you can optimize quite a lot.
Yeah,
Melding that one random material to hit 2.41.
Yeah.
Slight increase over 2.42. It's like,
so, I get my GCD when the boss goes away at 2.41.
Take care, Eureka. Or Erica. Erica. Okay, there we go. Found out. Yeah.
I didn't realize who you were talking about earlier. I just suddenly dawned on me now. I was like, yeah, no, Erica.
Yeah, we're not good with names.
So not Eureka.
Don't worry. I think everyone is terrible with names on Twitch, especially when like there's you just read it and you're like, wait a second, I said that completely wrong. I'm so sorry.
That's cool.
That's why we say sorry before we give it a shot.
That is a cool emote. I'm looking forward to my playthrough of the old Fantasy games, to be honest. I'm going to start from Fantasy 1 at the end of this month. Going through 1 to 6. Because of the Steam release on, the Pixel HD thing. So
Pixel HD?
I'll need to look into that.
Yeah. It's expensive. I will say that. It's not expensive, but it is. It's like they're selling them as a bundle for £54 for all 6. So, yeah. First three come out July 28th. Yeah, Panda says best part about streaming and being dyslexic is how my brain will process the new part.
Yeah, I understand that 100% because I'm very dyslexic.
No, yeah, the Steam Pharmacy 1 to 6 are coming out. The first 3 are coming out July 28th, and then the last 3 are coming out later. So, I think this is the first time that it's actually a 2D release of the third one since the PS1. Oh, not even since then. I think since the original, because the remake was in 3D. So,
I started on FF8. That was my first.
I started 7.
I started 13.
Oh.
I mean, what about you, Java? Which one was your first?
I played 7 when I was very young. I say very young, but younger. But I didn't really get into the series then. It's just my friends were like, "Oh, it's a fun game," and I was like, "I'll play it." And then I'm gonna say 13 was the next one I played when I first properly got into the series, and I was sort of like, this didn't seem as fun as I was expecting it to be. So I went back and replayed 7. I played 10, and I was suddenly like, no, this is more of the experience I was expecting. And then
Dr. Delicious says, I started with 1, I'm old. See, I came out with 1. I came out.
Oh, that new game release, Chili Pepper, is early access. Okay, you came out Chili, and then what? FF? Did you come with FF? Were you like a box set deal?
Oh, I'm broke.
We've lost him. We've lost him.
He's gone. It's out.
Came out.
Oh god.
But I was born the same year as Final Fantasy 1, so I didn't come out with Final Fantasy. It was a pre-order bonus. But yeah. Good luck, Talon. Thank you for stopping by. But no.
Chili. Nice seeing you again, Chili. Nice seeing you again, Talon. Jesus.
Susan, Chili's like a Funko figure that comes with the game. Yeah. Nobody would want that game. That would be the lowest pre-orders of all time.
What do you mean? the entirety of our fan base. That's like 700. Was it 50?
I got one
this-
with Nintendo Power.
yeah.
Didn't come with chili.
It's the chili expansion teenage years, and as soon as you hit 13, the expansion comes up.
I mean, that'd be the emo expansion, right?
Chili bringers.
Uh, I got one with Nintendo Power. Yeah. Oh yeah, Talon's gonna be taught by the voice of Hercule, my favorite character in Dragon Ball.
Nice. That's really
Go
cool.
check out go check out Talon's channel for more stuff. But now he's learning voice acting, so
He's definitely got the voice for it.
I mean, I could do Skeletor voice acting. We all know that, right?
You could definitely voice a Lalafell in the expansion.
Yeah, I could. But I could be Skeletor. Do you want to hear my Skeletor impression? Everyone's heard it, but
Go on.
give me 1 second. Yes! Curse you, He-Man! Did that work?
Well, I
That's
don't know
pretty
who
good.
Skeletor is, so I'll assume it's accurate.
I'd say it was on the money.
Damn you, He-Man! Yes! Castle Grayskull!
Next Savage Boss, Chili's later.
And yeah, I could do a Dalek as well. Exterminate! There you go. That's my voice acting.
Oh, that's from Harry Potter, isn't it?
Yeah. Dr. Harry Potter.
You're a chili, Harry.
Oh,
You're a chili. I'm asking you a fucking old one that.
Java, how far are you on? When did you start doing TEA then?
We are on a month and a half through right now. We're on a break week this week because of people's vacations, but we are on Wormhole Prague. So
Nice.
we had a hell of a messy time with Third Pass and getting people to relax on their movement a little bit for Third Pass and be a bit more thorough. We had to basically go full air traffic control, but yeah, we're getting through it. The nice thing is once we, and I'm sure as you know, like once we break through Wormhole, it's kind of smoother sailing towards the end. You just got a mitigation plan, J-Waves, and then do an EX fight. So shouldn't be too bad. Shouldn't be too bad at all. I'm looking forward to getting back to it though. I love Ultimates. I didn't realize how much I'd love them until I got into them, but yeah, incredible.
Now you're addicted.
Yeah, I'm actually on. I already do 3 days of Ultimate a week, and I'm now looking at ERC,
Cool.
being like, oh, could I maybe find a UCOB group thing? Do UCOB 3 days extra as well. Just give up all of my evenings.
if you're
I feel
looking
like,
for
yes.
UCOB group, can I suggest this person I put in Twitch chat? They help people with in a Discord for UCOB.
Ooh, yeah, I know
they-
Everin, yeah.
Yeah, they cleared it a lot.
Yeah.
So
They're doing they've started their tank TEA prog yesterday.
yeah.
Mhm.
8 tanks TEA.
You know what? I think I'm gonna lose some more of my days. I'm gonna start looking for another group.
I know.
Nice.
I know.
Excellent.
Rin wants me to join and try UCOB at some point, so I want to do it one day myself.
Is there any takers in chat that wants to take a dashing young WoW and Final Fantasy person?
He's just come out, so recruit him.
So yeah.
I'm not bog off though. I'm not buy one get one free. Okay.
Poor Paul.
I guess we should start wrapping this up before we go to. We actually stayed on topic for most of this episode, which is, I'll be honest, one of the first episodes of Moogle Go Round that stayed on topic. I mean, we didn't even stay on topic with Susan
professionals here.
Calloway.
Hey, I've really been trying my best as a serial podcast derailer to not do it here. So
We do it to ourselves. So
Yeah, don't worry. This is the first time we've not just spent half an hour talking about Nando's, which I'm going to bring up soon. Do you like Nando's?
You didn't bring up. Also, you managed not to bring up the cinema in Scarborough. So
Yeah, that's
Okay,
been
so
good.
I feel like I'm gonna get kicked out of the UK for saying this, but I don't particularly like Nando's.
Well,
I
it's
like-
been fun having Jive and Monkey on the show.
I like the type of food they serve. I would just much rather make it myself.
Cheese
I think that's the big
Nando
thing.
Monkey.
Well, it's
I
been
don't like
fun
Nando's
having.
either, to be honest.
That's been a
KFC 's
pleasure.
far
Thank you very
superior.
much. Thank you very much. I know. I don't know.
KFC is superior.
I will say it's probably because I can't get it that I want it.
That's always the way though. It's like Taco Bell or like In
I
and
can't
Out.
even get that. I can't
Yeah,
even
like
get that.
American
Yeah.
fast food. I know when I go to America and have it, I'm always
Yeah.
like, this wasn't as good as I built it up in my mind. But when I
Yeah.
can't have it, you're like, oh, you know what I could really go for? Just Taco Bell. And you get it. And
Yeah,
it's a soggy
there's one
taco
in
and-
York, but I've just
Oh.
not been.
Mm.
Yeah, York has. There's a few Taco Bells in England now, actually.
Ah,
Just like
time to make
Wendy's.
a road trip across the border.
Yeah.
There's
Wait, Wendy's is in the UK?
yeah, in Reading.
All right, on my way to Reading.
Yeah.
They're also going to be opening one in London. I'm keeping an eye on Wendy's because I know this will sound weird, but I kind of want to do a live stream where I travel across the entire country
You're trying to be the next Danny.
for Wendy's.
You're trying to be the next Danny. Chili back on Tut Road again. Just come out. Well, I
Lewis
guess
says I love Taco Bell. Yeah.
what
Hey.
are you guys going to be doing in FF? For me, obviously, the Feast season 20. If the reward is the Cruise Chaser, that's obviously going to take up my time. So that'll be me. What about you, Java? What are you going to be doing?
So I'm going to be continuing my T prog. I'm going to be kicking off doing some deep dungeon, like 1 to 100 and 1 to 200 for Heaven on High and Palace of the Dead, respectively, because I am a masochist. And I'm also currently working on weekends. I'm doing Savage teaching with the current tier for people who are new to Savage or wanting to dip their toes into it. With the amount of time we've got till Endwalker, I figure it's a perfect opportunity to introduce people to a part of the game that I really enjoy. And I think for some people, there's a bit of a perceived barrier of entry to it. And I always say that Savage, as with most content in this game, is just about time, dedication, and the journey. There is no set in stone barrier that says like, oh, you got to be this good to get into Savage. The best thing you can do is step into the fight, learn by failing, which is the best way to do it in my opinion, and just see if you enjoy it. And if you have good fun with it, just keep bashing your head against it. Like it's how you can get anything done in this game with enough dedication and sheer stubbornness. You can kick down everything. So I try and like help break down that sort of like raiding anxiety for people and say, hey, look, we're just gonna go in, we're gonna have a very relaxed environment. There is no time pressure. This is not got to get this done by this bit of content we've got all the way till November. Let's just go in, feel out if it's for you. I think E9 especially for this tier is a great introduction fight for people, given that it stresses a lot of the things that you need to understand or learn about the game to do Savage with like careful movement, introduces like a good range of mechanics and things like that, and like good rotational uptime when there's areas where there could be downtime, and like arranging your party in light parties, just the very, very fundamentals. So yeah, doing a lot of that as well on weekends. And otherwise, that's about it. Just playing too much Final Fantasy, crafting a lot of mithril files.
Susan says Savage scares me. Luna says I will have Savage seems stressful but fun. Savage looks scary from the distance, but when you actually start doing it, it's not too bad. It's more about finding a good group of people than it is anything else. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's fun if you're with a toxic. Well, I wouldn't even say toxic group, but a group that doesn't mix well. They're not going to be toxic, but to you, it's not going to be great because, yeah. As long as you can find a group where a group of friends is the best way. Yeah. Find a group is the hardest part of Savage, really.
Oh yeah, scheduling Savage is the true difficulty.
I know.
Like, oh, we got 8 friends who want to raid. What days is everyone available? Well, this person can't do Thursdays, and this person can't do Sundays, and this person can only do weekday evenings. This person works evenings, and
I will never forget my primal static where I'm in England, our bard was in Russia, our tank lived in Japan, and the rest of the DPS lived in different parts of North America.
Oh god.
We had to somehow it's like, okay, we have to be here at 3:00 because that's the only time that any of us can like magically make. And it had to be 3:00 all the time. So even if it was British summertime, it was still 3:00 because Japan and Russia doesn't have
don't do daylight savings. Yeah,
daylight savings. So I nearly always missed the first week of Savage with daylight savings changed because it was so confusing for me. Xenobo Corp says, "Hey, Moogle Go Round Radio and crew. Yeah, I can relate, as I used to be a hardcore raider and working around people's schedules was always a challenge. Yeah. That's why I'm never going to be the leader of Static, because I don't like doing that.
I must secretly love it because I keep organizing statics and I'm like, oh god, my calendar. But I will say, as you say, the nice thing is, as Dr. Listener says, feeling as a terrible schedule for Savage, there is always a group that will fit your time schedule eventually. Like, people will raid at the wackiest times.
I mean, look
you
at
might
us.
think, like, I'll never find people for it, and you will.
Me and Paul raid at 2 a.m.
Madness. Madness.
Well, after this, we're going to have a break, and then at 2 a.m. tonight, we raid till 5. So
well, I will say I'll be fast asleep, but it's too hot to sleep.
I'm not. I'm going to bed.
Well, we say most nights, Paul. Most nights.
Yeah, most nights.
Yeah, the average night.
Tonight, I'm going to bed.
But Paul, you asked us what we're doing. I'm going to be level up crafters so I can make money. I have unlocked crafting mentorship, so I am now a crafting mentor. But I still have to go back to do my level 1 quests because I haven't done them. But I am a crafting mentor.
I see you too make raid potions.
No, I haven't even unlocked alchemy yet. I am a crafting.
How are you a mentor?
That's you don't have manipulation, and yeah, you know what?
I don't have alchemy, goldsmith. I have like 1 crafter 80. Mentor.
It's a concerningly low bar for crafting mentor. I mean, I suppose it doesn't really matter too much for crafting.
Nah.
As long as you can teach people how to craft.
Wear that crowd proudly. Yes, I will. And when people ask me questions, I'll be like, buttons. Well, no, to be fair, I'd be just like, click trial synthesis. Did it work? Good.
No,
Have you heard of Teamcraft?
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I've never worked out what it is.
Oh, as an absolute crafting goblin, I love Teamcraft. You can just basically make more complex spreadsheets, like more complex versions of spreadsheets to manage crafts, and incredible. Doing like FC airships, it's been such a massive time saver. Huge.
Dr. Delicious says, what are the requirements of crafting mentor? Okay, you got to have 1 level 80 gatherer, level 80 crafter, if I'm rightly.
No, level 1 quest.
Yeah, well, level 1 quest. Yeah, get you. What happened is I got my botany quest, my first hatchet, and then I just left and then never actually got it. I just bought the hatchet.
Right, boys, we're signing you up for the war. You're good enough. There you go.
But no, 300 collectibles for gatherers, 300 collectibles for crafters, and that's it. If I'm
I think, isn't there a requirement for a certain amount of high quality crafts as well?
I mean, you're going to get those just by pressing buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I do the potion crafter meme, because I think that's how I got mine, which is crafting raid pots. Eventually I looked at it.
I probably got mine from all the coffee biscuits I was making, to be honest.
Yeah, that would do it as well. Actually, yeah, that's do it as well.
So yeah, that's how you become a crafting mentor. You pick up your quests, your level 1 quests, you go off and buy the gear instead, and then you craft, and then you win.
Crafting in this game is a massive pyramid scheme, but when you get to the top, oh boy, is it worth it.
Look, I just want enough to buy my medium house in the goblet. I already have a small on prime. I have a medium on primal, okay, and I have a small on Aether. I want my medium in the goblet, and I want to upgrade my small love house on Gilgamesh to a medium-sized love hotel. Yeah.
You have 3 houses. That's it. Reported.
Reported.
You can only have 1 of them. Can't be having more than 1.
I can have.
Also, sorry, go on.
What? Sorry.
Also, you've also just reminded me I need to go and walk into my house because I've got a medium in Shirigane at the beach, and I'd forgotten to go for a while.
There you go.
Don't want to get auto demolished. Anyway, sorry. Go on.
No, I have 1 on each data center. I have 1 on primal, 1 on Aether. So. And the Aether one, to be honest, I wasn't even planning to buy. I just saw it open, and I'd be in Palace of the Dead, and I sold them out. And I saw it, the plank there, just like, oh, you know what? I'll click it. You know, it's empty house. I'll click it. Nobody here. What? You know, nobody's here. It's gonna be locked. Bought house. Okay. Sweet. Chile is a Moogle. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I had 2 houses on Primal at one point. I just gave one away because I felt bad that I had 2.
Well, I was in an FC that had an entire ward. This was a long time ago. An entire ward was the same 3 crafters, and they got in a lot of public trouble on Twitter. And then everyone forgot about it a month later, which is, most.
Oh,
FF
that
drama.
was.
And they
That
still
was
have those
Goblin.
houses to this day.
That was it was angered.
That was Goblin, right?
No,
Yeah.
this
I know
was on
Goblin
Ragnarok.
server had that server. Ragnarok, that was
This
it.
on, Ragnarok, yeah.
Anyway, I said we were wrapping up. Paul, have you got anything what you plan to do until Endwalker?
Yeah, but I said like no one else. I was like, okay, I'll just sit here. I think my kind of times have changed now. During the weekend, I raid with my EU group, Team DC. The great DCs are great. Disconnecting, not data center. But other than that, just trying to get to beat E12S. And I'm actually probably going to grab one of my ults again and see if I can pug my way to the top on stream. So see if I can pug from 9 to 12, see if I can complete it. And maybe look for a what's it called? An ultimate or a T stack, maybe kind of like in my line of time zone. But other than that, I don't know what tank I want to do. I think I want to pug tank it.
Gunbreaker. Sorry, something in my
Yeah,
throat.
I've been doing I was doing Heaven on Highs on my own over time. I wiped on floor 54, but that's because I was dumb. But yeah, I was doing Gunbreaker because it seemed the easiest way to do it.
I miss when Taro TV used to stream his Heaven on High.
Oh
That
man,
was a good
I
watch.
got to floor 98 7 times in a row, and I was like, fuck this. It's not meant to be."
It's not meant to be.
It burnt me out. I was like, I can't do it. If I see the number 98 now, I get PTSD.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
if you don't visit your house, it'll be kicked and deleted.
But
Okay.
other than that, I don't actually play a lot of Final Fantasy. I've actually been playing a shit ton of WoW this week. And probably for the weeks coming up, because obviously 9.1 came out, so I'm just smashing that and just having a good time. But other than that, yeah, I think I want to try and play a lot more FF, but I don't want to get burnt out, obviously with the expansion coming up. I really want to like burn myself out and then be like, okay, I don't kind of want to play, but Reaper is kind of making it very hard for me to burn out because that's what I'm really looking forward to is Reaper and Bunny Boys. They don't do anything. I don't even give a shit about the story. Reaper and Bunny Boys, that's all I want. But yeah. So now what? What are we doing?
I think this is it. We're gonna end it, and
Oh, is it?
I'm gonna do the giveaway now. You got 1 minute to enter. If you got a sub, of course, but if you want to enter, type cake. We'll give you a couple more minutes while we start wrapping out, because I know Dr. Delicious can enter. If he wants the chance to win the Lunar Whale mount, even if you already have it, you could give it to a friend that doesn't have it, or you could just do it a giveaway on your own stream if you have a stream. But yeah, I'd like to shout out to both Java Monkey and Taro T for joining us. You got to be a sub to enter. Sorry, Zenoba Corp. But anyway, Java Monkey, have you got any shout outs and anything you'd like to add at the end? Promote yourself, of course.
Yeah, I stream on my Twitch at twitch.tv/JavaMonkey with an underscore at the end, because once upon a time, many years ago, I had the original JavaMonkey name on Twitch, and then like an idiot, I changed it for a meme, and then I couldn't get it back, and I live in regret of my younger stupidity all the time. I also have an active Discord server, which you can find through my stream. We organize a lot of, I say, the Savage teaching and raiding stuff through there. Building a bit of a raiding community over in that regard. And then once in a blue moon, I upload content on my YouTube. But, I got to get better at doing that. But otherwise, yeah, be excellent to each other. Thank you again very much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to be here
Thank
and
you
chat
so
to all
much.
you guys and everything. So
Thank you for
very much
putting up with us.
having me on. Oh, no, thank you for putting up with me. It's been excellent. It's been a lot of fun. So thank you very much.
Nice.
And yeah.
Taro TV, have you got any shout outs? And
Yeah. So
promote stuff?
firstly, if it lets me post links, you can follow me. No, Chili. I don't use Twitch.
Thank you for
follow me
the
on those,
shout,
those
Susan.
two. I'm the opposite of most people. I post primarily on YouTube videos, and I don't really do any streaming or anything. So I'm active on there and on Twitter. So feel free to follow me there. Again, thanks again, Chili and Paul, for inviting me on. And it was super awesome to meet you, Java, another UK sort of content creator who's also a tank. So it was very nice meeting you. And hope to have
Same to yourself as well.
Much more discussions with yourself. General, just shout out to my static that we've been raiding now for, God, it feels, I think, maybe 2.5 years at a casual pace. And other than that, yeah, thanks very much.
Okay. Paul?
Yes. Hi, I'm Paul, the other half of Moogle Go Round. I just want to say thank you to when it comes out today. Thank you to Java Monkey also for coming on and able to meet a fellow bun lover. So that's good. And then obviously we got the Lalafels on the other side. So
Yeah.
Lalafels. But yeah, shout out to those guys as well. Java Monkey, obviously he's already given them out. For me, big shout out to all you lovely people. Just coming on, even when I'm playing WoW Classic on the stream, some of you guys come chill. Great. I love it. But also I'm rambling because I'm hella tired. I'm just trying to think of what I want to say. You can follow me at Paul Metal 1 on Twitter, where I just tweet random nonsense. I like random nonsense. Yeah. And follow us on Moogle Go Round Radio, where we play games. And Final Fantasy is great, but WoW's also great. Chili, you can take over at any time. Anytime.
Okay. Well, I'm going to close the entries. Thank you again to Taro TV and Java Monkey. Go check out at Java Monkey on Twitch at twitch.tv/Java Monkey _. I'm bad. I don't know why. Also go check out Taro TV on YouTube. It's always lovely to chat with Taro TV, and it was lovely to chat with Java Monkey for the first time. Hopefully we can have you back on again. We're going to end this giveaway now. Remember, I will not be doing subscriber only giveaways again. This was a failure. I wish I could changed it back to normal, but Twitch, the Streamlabs wouldn't let me unless I had to close it and restart it again, which I can't be bothered. But don't worry, we are giving away a Lunar Whale every month until November. So if you come back to the next episode in a month, not in 2 weeks, that'd be horrendous. I can't afford that. In a month, you'll have a chance to win it again, and that will be for followers only again. So not subs, followers. You just have to click the follow button. Close entries.
And also maybe we'll have when I think September is when the job videos come out. So maybe we'll have a bunch of people that we're going to have on. Congratulations, Dr. Delicious, for winning the Lunar Mount.
But shout out to everyone that's joined us tonight. Thank you so much. I'm Chili from Moogle Go Round Radio. You can follow me at MG_Chili on Twitter. And of course, I stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on this channel. So we'll be going to retro games at the end of the month. So thank you, everyone. Until next time, goodbye.
So long.